Hi there and welcome to Soul Vision. My name is Lisa. Okay, so really to begin with, just to explain the different shifts and why we're going through them with Ascension, basically what we're looking at is that our DNA, we're moving from our carbon bodies to crystalline energy bodies, and through the shift that we're having with the actual movement, we're picking up a lot of symptoms, as we'll call them. Some of them are really nasty symptoms. They're not pleasant at all. A lot of people will be experiencing them now during this time, but some of them, some people may be finding that they've started to experience this a couple of years ago. I know that mine started quite strongly around about 4 years ago, in fact, and the last 2 years it's been really very dominant. And yeah, and well, this last year has just been incredible. It's like they've been pushed up to the front like you can't believe. So let me welcome Colette. Colette, welcome.
Thank you. How are you?
I would love to say that I'm very well, thank you. But at this moment, I have got the most terrible headache, and yes, it is one of the symptoms that we're going to be discussing. Not pleasant at all, but yes, it is what it is. And through the shift, which brings a lot of opportunities, but it also brings a lot of nasty symptoms that are really very unpleasant. And we're going to be discussing those also purely because we want you to know that you are not alone in this. We're all going through this. You know, we're in the same storm, just in different boats.
Yeah. And as December is quite a powerful month with the portals opening, there's going to continue to be this high frequency light just flooding into the planet. So this month, if you haven't been experiencing any symptoms, which I'm sure is very rare, this month you...
Right. So let's dive right in, Colette. What symptoms have you been feeling, and are you really okay today?
Okay. So one of the ones that I've been feeling a lot is exhaustion. I can get up in the morning, be exhausted, take naps during the day, and I'm just constantly tired, and I can sleep for like 12 straight hours easily.
Oh, me too. I've also been feeling that, like totally exhausted all the time. And I must say that my symptoms started around about 4 years ago, where I started to get incredibly tired, totally exhausted, headaches like you can't believe. It was kind of like electric shocks in my head. And of course, this year with this real shift taking place with all of us, it's just become it's sort of like heightened as well. So they seem to be getting worse, but I know that they will get better. And then another thing as well, if you can understand how the shift is taking place, we've got these cells in our body, and these cells are very dense, and that is the carbon base, the old cells, the old frequency that we have, that has the fear based and all of that. So those are the old cells, and they're very dense. And what is actually happening is our bodies are now getting in the lighter frequency cells. So the lighter frequency cells are pushing out the heavier, the denser cells, and that is when that shift takes place. So remembering as well that our bodies have been very used to these dense frequencies, because that's all we've already known. So in a sense, energetically, we're trying to hold on to that, but we're also excited to get the new frequencies in. So it's kind of like this push and pull that we're feeling. And believe me, it feels like my head's being pushed and pulled most of the time as well. And that is normal. It's absolutely normal.
Yeah. So kind of, if you think of it like a computer, you're basically rebooting now. And you know, when your computer needs to be updated, it takes long with that thing scrolling, and then it's off for a really long time, and then back again. So that's basically what your body's going through now. It's upgrading and rebooting.
Absolutely. And I think of it also, you know, in years ago when we used to defrag our computers, and it used to go and then it's sort of like, and that's how I feel. I feel like I'm being defragged, you know, every day. And another thing as well is that often I feel out of my body, and then I feel very much in my body. So I've got this like floating sensation, which is so pleasant, and I wish I could be there all day. And then suddenly I'll just jolt back into my body again, and it's kind of knock, you know. So yeah, these are all things that are incredibly difficult when they happen, but I think it's quite important that we try and navigate them, you know, and go with the flow, because I find that more you kind of like fighting against it, the more difficult it actually becomes. So I know most of the time we don't like to release and surrender. We prefer to be in control. But at this time with the shift, we have to learn to surrender.
Yeah. And also very important to listen to your body. Like every day, just put your hand on your heart and ask your body what it needs. Because some days it maybe just wants to sleep. Some days it might want you to stretch or exercise. Some days it might not want to eat at all. Other days it will need a lot of fuel. So don't just let your mind say, oh, it's breakfast time, I've got to eat, or I can't have a nap now, it's the middle of the day. Listen to your body and follow. Your body knows what it's doing, so follow its lead.
Absolutely, I agree. Now the other thing as well is that we've all been kind of like, quite used to having a routine, and we wake up at a certain time, then we do this and then we do that, which is really great because it can keep you kind of focused. But with this energy shift, it's kind of thrown and blown all routine out of the window, and like I said again, you're trying to fight to get that routine because that's your kind of control. Routine is good up to a certain extent, okay, because it does keep you focused. But what I'm finding in the shift as well is that routine can be awful. It can be very stressful to try and follow, like you said, because some days I'll wake up and I'll think, I actually just can't work today. My body needs to rest. But then the old self, the routine self says, no, you have to get up. You have to do this, and then you have to do that, and then you have to do that. And I'm kind of going, but I don't want to do that anymore. My body doesn't want to. And so it's been a struggle for me as well to know when to actually let go, because I've always had this sort of like, if you're doing nothing for the day and you're just relaxing, then you're lazy. That was the old belief system. And the new belief system is listen to your body. Like you say, put your hand on your heart, listen to your body, allow your body to guide you. And make time for that quiet time within yourself where you just connect with yourself, whether it's through prayer, whether it's through meditation, whether it's just through stillness, is so important for us to actually do that.
And if you think about it, this upgrade is such a miraculous and magical thing. Like your entire body is changing into something new. So even though these symptoms may be horrible, don't have like a negative feeling towards it. See it through the lens of how magical it actually is, and be excited for where you're going.
Well, I kind of like came up with this concept the other day, and I thought, it's just like taking us and throwing us into a washing machine. It's sort of like we've got these lower old frequencies. We want them to be new and lighter, so we throw it into the washing machine. But to get it lighter, that thing turns around, and there's water, and the water being emotions, and there's soap, which is the cleansing, and we come out there and we kind of like, what's happened to us. But when you look at the clean washing that comes out, it smells so beautiful. It looks so beautiful. It feels so beautiful. And I think that's what we've got to, and that's the image that I've got. That's what we've got to think. It's a cleansing. It's a renewal. We've got to look at the beauty in it, and not just at all the yuckies of the actual symptoms, that we're feeling. One of the top 3 symptoms, though, Colette, I find this with a lot of my clients, a lot of my friends, family around me, is the depression. We'd often say, oh, we're feeling a little bit sad and we're not feeling ourselves, but now it's not just a case of feeling a bit sad. A lot of people around, and this is global, are hitting a really, really depression, hectic depressions, and this is part of the ascension process as part of our purging those darker energies and darker frequencies that we have that are no longer needed in the outside world today, with this new alignment.
Yeah, depression and also anxiety and anger, all of those coming up as the purging.
Absolutely. And this is all a part of it when the ego starts departing, and this is part of the ascension, is that the ego is now departing and we're becoming lighter body frequencies. Okay,
so some others that I've been having are like aches and pains in the body, in the body. And a lot of people are having that, they're all like old injuries. Those are coming up and feeling more intense than they have been. Mine, particularly my old backache, and also rashes. I'm getting a lot of rash eczema on the back of my neck.
Yeah, absolutely. And a lot of the older injuries as well are a lot of relating on an energy frequency. It's issues that we haven't really dealt with, and we've kind of like stuck them away on an energetic level, and thought that they're gone, you know, that never to raise their ugly heads again. And they're coming up in the physical form, you know, as aches and pains. And I've had a lot of neck ache and back ache, and I know that the back ache is also not feeling supported, you know, having to sort of like go there and do it all yourself. And then also the neck ache is also looking at different things, you know, turning your neck and focusing on different things, where I think in our daily lives we become so focused on one thing, and, you know, on our goals, on our desires and that, and we don't realize all these things until we actually get the aches and pains. And then it's our body's way of talking to us, say, hang on a minute, take a step back, become the observer, what is really happening energetically around you. And this is why it's affecting the physical, so that the physical then shows the symptoms of this is, you know?
Yeah. Okay, some others I want to mention is, you already said feeling out of your body. That's the nice one of it. But the other one of the floaty, dizzy feeling is not such a nice one, of feeling like halfway out your body. So dizziness, vertigo, like you want to fall over, and just like you spacey, like your head's in a cloud. I'm feeling that a lot.
Yeah, and that nausea feeling as well. That also comes with the dizziness. And I don't know if you found it, but I found that my nutrition is totally different, you know, what I'm consuming. And then I have these hectic craves, you know, cravings. So, I mean, I started off, I was a meat eater, chicken, fish, red meat, and my body didn't want that anymore. So then I went vegan, and I went vegan for 5 months, and then I was just craving eggs, you know, obviously that type of protein, and then I started craving fish again, and now I'm on to spinach. All I want to do is eat spinach, you know. So I'm having these really hectic cravings, and they're very different. Every day is different to the next. So I found that I can't really plan my menu for the week, because I don't even know what I'm going to be wanting to eat tomorrow, you know. Have you also found that there's some foods that you just can't tolerate anymore, that that bring up rashes, bring up cramps in your stomach? Because I found that, and specifically with garlic, you know, I used to really enjoy garlic on my foods, and I can't eat garlic anymore. And that's for me. It's not saying that garlic is good or bad. It's just that it's not aligning to my frequency right now. And the other thing that's very important is that we need to increase our water intake. So, because you must remember that with these cells, because they're light body cells, they require so much water.
All right, then quite a big one as well is the ear ringing. And this can get really intense at times, like when you're trying to fall asleep at night, this buzzing and this ringing in your ears. Sometimes it's both ears, sometimes it's just the one ear. So we do have two chakras that are opening, new chakras that are opening are our ears, and that is related to that as well.
Okay, well that's nice to know. So it's not somebody riding past with their bicycle bicycle bell ringing. That I don't know if you've had it as well, but eyesight. I mean, I wake up in the morning, and then I can see, and then I can't see, and then I put on my reading glasses, and then I put on my other glasses, and then I take my glasses off. And I'm finding as well that sometimes I have to put on an old pair of specs that I had 4 years ago, and I can see better with them than my new prescription. And then the next day I don't need glasses, and then the next day I need the other set. So it's kind of, my eyesight's also, you know, gone a little bit loopy over there. And also what I found is when I'm sleeping, and if I sleep with those little, you know, eye covers on, I have this very, very bright light some nights. And it feels like this light is shining right directly, like right into my pupils. And then other times I'll see it where it's on the side, you know. And I've woken up a couple of times and I thought, did I leave the light on? And I'll take off my sleepers and I'll look and I'm in pitch darkness, but I'll see this very, very bright light. And yeah, I've spoken to a couple of people and they're also going through that with eye issues. Perhaps just put off that appointment with that optometrist for a little while longer, because I'm sure your eyes are still going to be shifting and changing for a little while longer.
Yeah, okay, I'm looking because I made some notes of other ones. Hot flushes and night sweats. Now, I have been having hot flushes naturally, but they've been way more intense. And I have heard that other people have been experiencing this. So I'm glad that it is an Ascension symptom. Have you been getting any of those?
Yes, I have been. And like you said as well, you know, people normally go hot flashes. Okay, well, that's related to menopause. But there are young ladies that are not going through menopause that are also experiencing this, and also men who are experiencing it. So it's definitely one of the Ascension symptoms. And also the heart palpitations as well. So extreme anxiety and extreme heart palpitations. And what I've found is if you can actually breathe into it, it does help. So a lot of my clients, what I've shared with them is the technique of the rolling wave, which I call it. So when you get this feeling of this anxiety, of just this utter stress, and you don't know what to do with it, to breathe it in, imagine it as this huge black great wave coming up, and then as you breathe out, it breaks down onto the surface. And then imagine it slowly as a little ripple going up the sand, up the beach sand, and then going back into the sea. And if you need to do this 3 times, then do so. Because what it's actually expressing to you is the cycle, okay, and the different process of the cycle. So it's not just the crashing of the waves all the time. It's the building up, the crashing down, the out, the in. And if we can try and practice some of those techniques, that really helps with the anxiety, with the palpitations, you know, just feeling sort of like out of sorts.
Yeah, and the thing now is with all these emotions coming up, bottling them now isn't helping, because it's just going to make matters worse. So we can't shy away from our emotions anymore. We've got to sit with them, feel them as an observer, and then somehow energetically disperse them. And the way that you're saying with the wave is a great way to just disperse that. Other great ways, if you're feeling sad or angry, dance it off. Now get that energy out of your body.
Yeah, that's so true. And music helps so much, because music also teaches you about that there is a note, but that there's also a pause between the notes. And it's the pause and the music together, the pause and the sound together, that actually makes the flow of music. And that is what we need to incorporate in our lives as well, is the music, which is active, and then also the pause, which is, like you said, the rest, you know, when your body needs to rest. You need to do that so that we can balance ourselves, you know.
Yeah. Another one that I'm feeling about, that has been for about a year now, I guess, is sensitivity to very 3D things. So if people are gossiping around me, or if people are being judgy around me, it's actually like a physical yucky sensation, and I've got to leave. I struggle to watch TV, and loud noises bother me, and bright lights bother me. So all these kind of things, you may be getting extra sensitive to certain things.
Yeah, definitely. And like you say, the sound, and also my taste, like I was saying, has also changed. Like things that are very harsh, even things that have a lot of sugar in, I just can't anymore. Besides my body not feeling well, my taste buds just don't like that. And funny enough, you know, I'm actually leaning towards that bitter plant taste, you know, with all the tinctures. So before I go like, oh, this is really gross, I'm not doing the really gross thing. I'm going, it's a bit bitter. So yeah, so that my body's sort of like becoming more aligned to that, you know. It's really weird, but yeah, that's what's happening on that side. And do you also find that like you were mentioning about, you know, your ears and your eyes and whatever, and that your 5 senses are sort of like very heightened, but are you finding as well that your 6th sense is just as heightened?
Yeah.
And your dreams, what are you finding with your dreams?
Very vivid, crazy dreams. I don't always remember them, but I do have a dream journal. So when I do wake up and remember them, I try write it down. But yeah, a lot of intense, crazy, adventurous, sometimes scary dreams at the moment.
Okay, and then also often what I want to do is I actually don't want to go out. So, you know, I'll be making plans with friends and so on. And then I find I actually just don't want to go out. And it's not that I don't want to see those people. It's just that I don't want to go out, you know. And I think we need to also honor that and respect that, because there's a reason that you need to be alone when your body tells you that you need to be alone. And it's not about trying to find out what the reason is and trying to make logical sense about it. It's just about feeling it, respecting it, and honoring those feelings.
And then, have you been experiencing any memory loss, or maybe sometimes you can't think of the word that you want to say, like disorientation? It's like your brain is just doing, I don't know, freezing at times.
Yes, I have. So what I've started doing now is I've started writing things down. You know, if I've got things to do and whatever, I start writing it down. That does seem to help a bit. But also with the memory loss, which is really, really strange. It's like I have this thought coming into my head, and then just as I'm about to grasp it, it's almost like it fizzles out, and it sort of like moves forward, and I want to grab it and say, come back here, you know, what was it? Come and tell me again. So it's almost like that there's a itch in the matrix and little things are coming through, and before I can actually get a handle on it, they're disappearing again. And when that happens, I kind of like feel, where am I? So I feel like I've got 1 foot in and 1 foot out, you know. And I think that's basically what it is, because if you imagine the 3-dimensional energy as a grid, as a matrix grid that we're standing on, and then the 5th dimension energy is also a grid, you're kind of like bouncing from the one to the other, back to the other, and so on and that, you know. And I think it's quite important for us also not to become, you were speaking about that you can't be around people much that are judgmental, you know, very judgy and that. And I think through this shift, we've also got to show empathy to others and not judge them for which grid are you standing on type of thing, because we're all bouncing backwards and forwards. And some people may just be a little bit longer on the one grid than the other grid. And that is actually okay. It's not for us to judge those people. It's just for us to understand and respect that that is where they are. And we all are where we need to be right now.
Another thing about the memory is I've been having, like suddenly I'll just remember something from years and years and years ago, randomly. I just have a random memory pop up. And it has no relation to what I'm doing or anything. It's just a random memory. So yeah, that's a weird one.
And waking up in the middle of the night, oh my goodness, I thought maybe that's why I was exhausted, because I'm just not sleeping right through. But particularly around about sort of like 2 o'clock to 4:30ish, sort of there, those are the times for me that I'm waking up. And I know that this is also a time for cleansing, you know. So I do believe that that's also aligned to us, our new cells in our body, where the cleansing and the process is taking place for those new cells to become rejuvenated, washed, you know, the washing machine story. And I think that's also, you know, what's happening around there. How's your sleep pattern during the evening?
I fall asleep easily, but I also usually wake up like from my dreams in the middle of the night sometimes. Yeah, and that time 3 a.m. is when the veil is meant to be at its thinnest.
I find a lot of people also saying that they're worrying about stuff, you know, and they're worrying about everything type of thing. And I always say, you worry, it's kind of like sitting in a rocking chair, you know, you're going backwards, forwards, but you're going nowhere. So get out of that rocking chair, you know, try to stop worrying. And what I found works for me is when I get that sensation of worry and I get concerned, I actually imagine it to be like a cloud for me. And I just go, it'll come back when you need it. And I kind of send it off, you know, and if it comes back in a hailstorm the next day, then I'll deal with it. I'll buy an umbrella. It's I kind of, I imagine it all as clouds and send it off. So I think if you can use a lot of visualization as well, a lot of breathing techniques, it really, really will help you with the Ascension symptoms, or most of them that you're feeling.
Yeah, breathing is also a key one. Our life is breath, so basically that's how we can control a lot of things.
And when things start becoming a little bit overwhelming for me, what I also think of is, Lisa, you're a bridge. Whether that bridge is going to be there to help other people move from one side to the other side, whether that bridge is for yourself, use the bridge. The bridge is there. We may feel unsupported, but we are so very, very supported. I mean, we've got the whole of the Galactic Federation that's standing behind us and cheering us on, and we've got so much more support than what we even believe. There's other beings from other dimensions, and then of course we've got us on Earth, and we're all supporting each other. And this has been a lovely, wonderful time of opportunities where people have found each other. We've found our tribe, and we're all getting together and we're all helping each other. And all us light workers and way showers and star seeds, we've all sort of like stepped up, and we're in this whole battle together, and it's the battle to get us all top light frequency. I think it's very, very exciting times. I'm very blessed, and I'm very happy that I chose to be here. Yes, no, it hasn't been very easy. I don't think it's been easy for anybody, but it's a wonderful, wonderful time. And I just look at these new babies that are being born into this frequency, and I think, oh, they're such incredible souls to be here and to bring us their light frequency, which is so much cleaner than ours, so much wonderful, and I thank these little ones, and what precious souls they are.
Yeah, they're not weighed down by all the conditioning and the brainwashing really that we've had in this matrix system. So yeah, it's lovely just to be around them and feel that energy.
Yes, and they just teach you so much as well. They don't have as many conditions, on life like we have, and it's just so if you can try and be around little children, listen to their laughter, look at their little smiles, it definitely does help with your frequency as well. They've got something so spectacular, so special to share with us all.
All right, so let's talk about some of the things that you can do to support yourself during this time. So the first one I've got is sleep. Sleep, sleep, sleep as much as you need to. Even if your brain is telling you it's a strange hour of the day to be sleeping, if you have the opportunity and you are exhausted, give your body the rest. If you think of it as upgrading, it's doing so much work, so obviously it's going to be exhausted.
Okay, so I'd like to agree with you with the sleep. For me, I find it very difficult sometimes to sleep, although I am exhausted. So if you can't sleep, if you're kind of like me, what I would say is just rest. You don't have to fall asleep if your body doesn't want to, but take that time and just rest. I totally agree with you. And it's so important how you navigate things. So also when I would say is when you feel that your frequency is out, it's very much like a radio. If you put a radio on a station and it's not completely on that station, it gives that sound, and that's sometimes how you feel inside. You're agitated, you're irritable. If that happens and you can't manage to get your frequency aligned immediately, again, do what Colette says, sleep, rest, breathe. Breathing so important. So I think that's important. Like you said, Colette, sleep, rest. I would also say drink a lot of water. It definitely helps, the water. And also try and surround yourself by nature if you can. If you stay in a townhouse or somewhere where you don't have grass and you don't have trees or anything around you, get yourself a pot plant. get yourself goldfish so that you've got the water and you can see some life moving there. So start looking at things a little bit differently and try and incorporate as much nature in your life as what you can.
Yeah. You can walk on the grass with bare feet. It's the most amazing feeling. It's just so healing and grounding. That's my top one, and hugging trees.
And you know what I found is the other day it was raining, and I remember my grandmother always used to say to me, put a little bucket outside when it rains and take the rainwater and rinse your hair with it. Your hair will always be shiny and beautiful and grow long. And it was raining the other day, and I took a little bowl outside and I just took the water, and I never rinsed my hair with it. What I did was I put the water on my face, and I just felt this amazing feeling from this pure water. And I felt rejuvenated. I just felt joy and happiness. And I think that's, you know, the next time there's some rain around, try and catch some rainwater. If you're unable to do this, you can fill a bowl with water and perhaps put a crystal in, or just put a flower in so that it can absorb those frequencies. I know you like to go running around in the rain when it rains.
Yes, there was maybe a month ago now. I was feeling like really down and depressed and irritated, and I just was lying in bed. And there was a voice saying to me, it started raining really hard, and it said, go stand in the rain. And I was under my blanket going, no, I'm not going to. And it said, stand in the rain. No. Eventually, I'm like, okay, I'll go. And I just went out onto our balcony and stood in that rain. And I tell you, after 5 minutes, it's like a switch had just been turned on. And my mood had turned completely. I was so happy. I was so carefree. I was so light. So, yes, that's the magic of rainwater.
And I think what we've got to look at as well, we've got to look at the different vibrations that are happening within us. And some may be high notes and some may be low notes. But if you take all those vibrations together, we can actually play beautiful music, like harmonics, with all these beautiful vibrations. And so I think it's just seeing things differently. If you can try and just see the good and the positive and see the blessings in it. Those are also one of the ways to navigate through these ascension symptoms a lot easier, you know, and to know that, you know, we're all going through this together. You know, one day you may be happy, the next day I may be happy, and just to support each other, to understand each other, not to try and be right about it, you know, just to live your own truth in a gentle way. And yeah, like I say, navigate and accept. Don't fight against it. You can't swim against the current.
Yeah, you can't always be happy. That's not the human experience. As humans, we've come here to feel all the emotions. So accept if you're feeling angry, accept if you're feeling sad. Sit with that feeling for a while. Just don't let it consume you, but accept it, observe it, and then try and find a way to energetically release it. But you're never going to be always happy. What a boring life that would be.
Yeah. And the other thing as well is that for me, I've always tried to look at a solution. You know, what is the solution to this problem? And I'm feeling like this. Okay, so should I be doing this and should I be doing that? And what this has taught me is that I don't have to have a solution to everything. Well, I don't have a solution to everything, so I don't have to beat myself up about it. I don't have to always go looking for that solution. It's okay to sometimes feel afraid, feel down, feel all those feelings, you know. I've done a lot of healing throughout this year, probably more so self-healing than what I've done in a very long time. And in a short space of time, just by allowing myself to be.
I love that. Another great one is the sun. So the sun is bringing in all these light codes. It's coming from the cosmic sun through to our sun and then through to us. So get into the sun as much as you can. If you can do sun gazing, which not at noon, I've tried that, it's really not good. So probably at sunrise or sunset where it's not so intense, you can just gaze at the sun. But even in the middle of the day, if you can just stand and let those rays just rain down on you and absorb that, it's also so healing and bringing in all those new life forms.
Yeah, you see, that's a great idea. Now for me, I love the evening. So that just resonates with me. Probably because I'm always busy during the day, and in the evening is when I get my time to unwind. And I love to just sit on the balcony and just stare up into the sky. Hopefully one day I'll be seeing more UFOs flying around of all our dimensions. But looking up into the sky and just actually feeling that energy of all the stars, on you. That for me is also, it's like having a blanket of sequins and diamonds around me when I sit outside. So that energizes me as well, and I love that. One thing I also wanted to point out to you is that, we said that the eyes are that they're kind of like seeing right today and then tomorrow they're not. I've been seeing a lot of, and I call them color blobs, So just yesterday, I was driving down the road and I was looking at these trees, and I've got these two most amazing trees on my way to work. They look like the two lovers, sort of like just about to kiss each other. And on my way to work, I drive through this, and I always go blessings, of love when I ride through. And on my way home, I was driving this way, and these trees turned purple. They were the purple color blobs. And I was like, oh my God, look at these trees. And no, they are not jacarandas. And it reminded me of a time when I was a little girl. In fact, I was in grade 1. And our teacher asked us all to draw a tree. And of course, I drew my beautiful tree, and my tree was purple. And my teacher came and she looked at this very disapprovingly, and she punched up my paper and said to me I had to redraw the tree because there are no purple trees. Trees are green. And I was very upset because I had seen so many purple trees. And again, no, they weren't just jacarandas that I was seeing. I was actually seeing those colored energy blobs. And for me, it was absolutely amazing. It was like coming home, seeing these color blobs again that I haven't seen since I was a little girl. And it's all those, when you're a child, you often see through the veil. And when you're an adult, you don't see as much through the veil. Some people never sort of like see anything. And it's because of the belief systems that are instilled in us, and we've been told like, oh no, you're seeing things, it's your own story, your imaginary friend, and that. We block this off, so we don't see and we don't hear. And I was very fortunate that my mother never shut me up. I don't think anybody can shut me up. I talk way too much. But I was very fortunate, so I'm still able to see through the veil. But it was the most amazing feeling to see the things that I saw as a little girl, and to know that those energies are they're really, really coming up again, and they're coming up for so many people.
Beautiful. Yeah. Okay, another one is to move. And this is not to do your, like you were saying, your routine, not to do your hectic exercise routine like you used to, but just move again, ask your body what it needs. Maybe one day it needs to run 10 kilometers. Maybe another day it just wants to stretch or do yoga. So just listen to your body and just do the movements with gentleness and with care, what your body needs. And remember that it's going through a lot. So don't put it under more strain if that's not what it's asking for.
Well, that's fabulous. So now that I know that I don't have to feel guilty because I'm not training every day, I'll just stretch the odd and the occasional stretch.
I've also been sorry, like I need to stretch, like my body feels uncomfortable, like it's not fitting in itself anymore or something, and I'll need to stretch or move. Or do you have any of that?
I do actually, and funny enough, this happens when I lie down at night to fall asleep. It's normally you stretch when you wake up, that's how we normally do it. I stretch before I go to sleep. It's kind of like my body as well feels that energies are very tight. I need to sort of stretch it before I go to sleep. So a lot of things are sort of seeing a little bit back to front, and where it's happening. But I still say it's very exciting. I'm very excited. I'm so happy to be here. 4 years ago, I didn't want to be here. I was like, oh no, I've had enough of this life. If I could just beam me up, Scotty, I want to be here. But I'm so glad that Scotty never beamed me up. I'm so glad that I am here because I'm just so excited. I feel this feeling. It's like the Christmas feeling. I mean, I know it's almost Christmas, but it's not that. It's like, you know, when you're a little kid and you know that you've got presents to open and they're just there by the tree and it's just a few more days. And that's how I'm feeling with this energy. I'm feeling so excited to see changes that are going to happen.
Yeah, it's just amazing to think we were going to be, say, in 4 years' time with a new earth, with everything different. And yes, I want to live for 100 more years then, please. Sign me up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Me too. 140 more years. I want to see my great grandchildren. You know, I think it's really going to be great. But one thing I do want to say, Colette, before we end off, I want to say thank you, a big thank you to all the light workers out there, all the way shows, all the star seeds. Everyone that's been holding space for one another and just holding light for one another, supporting each other, even if it's just through a short message, a smile, you know, to somebody that you may not even know. All of these little actions play such an important part in keeping the frequency up, also just supporting each other.
Absolutely. Okay, so I'm going to be off to go and show some people now.
Okay, and I'm going to be off to bridge some people now. So we'll catch you on the other side. Wings up and namaste.
Namaste. Thank you for the chat. Bye.
Bye.